This is a HeadGum podcast.
Hello and welcome to The Complete Guide to Everything, a podcast about everything. I'm one of your hosts, Tom.
And I'm Tim.
Tim, how are you doing this week?
Tom, I am very, very, very excited.
Why is that?
Because we have a groundbreaking episode this week, Tom. We're going to be doing some investigative journalism.
Yeah, literally groundbreaking.
Yeah, exactly.
Breaking the ground to get to a certain hot place that I'm not going to say the name of because it's a curse.
The hot place down under the crust, right?
Yeah. You think Apple Podcasts is going to censor this episode for having a cuss word as the title?
They can do whatever they want, but that's not going to stop us, Tom, because this week...
Yeah, we refuse to be censored, except for me earlier when I said I won't say a curse word.
Yeah, I mean, you're a famous coward. Hey,
well,
Tom.
Then there's no better place for me.
Yeah, exactly. That's where all the cowards wind up. Hell. Or is it? Or are all the cool people there? We'll investigate that later. But Tom, first, it's Halloween month here on The Complete Guide to Everything.
Yeah.
And here we are calling each other Tim and Tom like it's any other normal dang month.
Oh, Jesus, yeah. Sorry, Skeleton.
No worries, Tomb. I'll be better about calling you by your proper Halloween month name from here on out.
We should have both put on face makeup to make it easier for us to remember.
Like corpse makeup?
I could have put... You would have just had to paint your face like a skeleton, and then I could have painted my face just like, I don't know, like Lurch or something.
Yeah, or like, who's the Undertaker's friend and manager?
Oh, Paul Bearer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's actually kind of what I was imagining.
Paul Bearer was always scarier to me than The Undertaker himself.
Well, Paul Bearer was very sneaky. That was the problem. You know, he disarmed you because you're like, oh, look at that little twerp. But then when the referee's not looking, he's going to bash you over the head with a freaking urn or whatever.
Yeah. I don't know. I wasn't a wrestling kid. We were in a wrestling household.
He fought very cheap. The Paul Bearer. Well, I guess like all the wrestling managers. That they always fought cheap. I don't think wrestling has managers. It's certainly not as much as they did when we were kids.
Yeah, it seemed like everybody had an associated little guy manager with them.
Yeah, or like the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. He had the ravishing Elizabeth with him all the time.
Yeah, there was a beautiful woman that just came out. And did she wrestle?
No, she would just like take his cloak or whatever, I think. And then I think once in a while she would also pull some dirty tricks. But not nearly as many as a rascal like Paul Bearer.
To me, that was I wasn't a wrestling kid. I didn't grow up in a wrestling household.
No, I did. We were wrestling each other 24/7.
We watched baseball games, America's pastime. We ate apple pie, Tom.
Wow, all right.
We didn't do this gutter stuff. We didn't watch Married with Children. We didn't play Sega Genesis and TurboGrafx 16. We were Nintendo, thank you very much.
Look, another character assassination. We didn't watch Married with Children either. It was gross.
Yeah. When the kids came in to school every day, the day after, like Monday mornings, they'd be like, "Did you see Al Bundy last night?" And I'd be like, first of all, it's called Married with Children. And second of all, no, I didn't see it. I'm not allowed to watch that show.
It would give me bad ideas about, I don't know, flushing the toilet louder or whatever happened on there.
Tom, I have a situation here. Before we go to hell,
right?
I'd like some earthly
We have to get
advice.
our affairs in order.
Exactly. So I've been having this situation. You see me right now, Tom. I'm in a smallish room. It's a home office.
Okay.
It's I got a desk in here.
Is this going to be that your wife has locked you in?
No, the door
okay.
doesn't lock, which is another whole thing. Um,
Another whole thing.
Yeah. Can't get any
Why is
dang
that a
privacy
thing?
in this place.
Well, why can't you just have an agreement like, when the door's closed, I'm busy. That's what me and my girlfriend have.
Yeah, but what if somebody else comes in who's not my wife?
Then you're in worse trouble, Tim. You're not supposed to be having guests over right now.
Exactly, Tom. What if somebody breaks into my house and I'm trying to hide and cower in my office?
I see. I forgot. Well, you need like a panic room or something.
I know. I'd like to one day build this into a panic room.
Wouldn't it be so nice? Like, I think a lot of people that prep and everything are overreacting. But I think I really would sleep very well at night if I knew I had a panic room.
Yeah. I think eventually you'd start sleeping in the panic room.
Well, at a certain point, it just makes sense to start sleeping in the panic room as you accumulate enemies throughout your life. At a certain point, you go, you know what? I got so many enemies. I got to start sleeping in the panic room.
Yeah, Tom, hey, why don't they make the whole house out of the panic room?
Because people want windows in their houses.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, you can just go live in a bunker. Plenty of people are doing that nowadays.
Yeah, I don't want to have to dig for that long.
Well, most people buy it from somebody else, or have somebody come and dig up their yard and put a bunker down there.
La-dee-da, have somebody else come in and dig up your yard.
Well,
Mr.
or
Rockefeller.
You can rent a backhoe or something.
I beg your pardon. I thought you weren't going to say dirty words on this show.
Well, I forgot that you're not a man of the people. You're not familiar with construction terms.
I'm really not. I've noticed, I have a 3-year-old niece and a 3-year-old nephew, and they both have a deeper knowledge of construction vehicles. They know all the names and stuff, and they'll point them out. I just know them as like, what is that, a truck? And they're like, no, it's a digger.
Well, in fairness, you're not that interested in trucks, and it doesn't have much to do with your day-to-day life, knowing the names of these things. Same thing with, like, dinosaurs, the names of different dinosaurs and sharks.
That's true. But let's be honest, that doesn't have none of them are operating this heavy machinery, these 3-year-olds.
Well,
they're into it. What?
Maybe they aspire to operate it.
Yeah.
Maybe they one day they want to have a digger of their own.
Yeah.
Anyway, what's your awkward situation?
Hey, why don't you dig Uncle Tim a bunker for him to sleep in?
Hey, why don't you dig up old Uncle Tim if he gets they accidentally think he's dead and bury him without checking?
That'd be nice. I'm going to make sure my nephew does know how to operate a backhoe in case I am buried alive.
Yeah, tell him to bury you with a string tied to a bell on the surface, and just be ready.
Imagine I do my my FaceTime call with my nephew that I do every couple of weeks. 3-year-old nephew.
Hey,
my
listen,
brother
there's
walks
something
by.
important I have to talk to you about.
So when I pull the string, the bell will ring, and that's when you have to dig me out of my grave because I've been buried alive.
That means I'm not actually dead.
That happens sometimes.
But I've got very little time, you have to understand. Time is of the essence if this happens.
So I'm spending a lot of time in my home office working,
right.
8+ hours a day out of this place. Mm-hmm. And I'm sitting, it's a smallish room. I'm right next to this window here. You can see this window behind me, Tom?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And there's a building that is there's a walkway between the two buildings.
Okay.
And then another building, like 10 feet from my building.
Okay.
About.
Uh-huh.
And there's somebody right across in the window across who is also at their desk in that window all day, every day. Okay. And I hate it. I hate because whenever I look up, there's a person right there, a person that I've never met before. Right. I know nothing about this person.
Uh-huh. But they're kind of your coworker. They're your office mate.
But now I'm under the impression that this woman is just kind of like, oh, this friggin' guy again.
Yeah,
that
she feels the same way about you.
No, I don't feel bad about I'm just like, we all live our lives. I think she resents me, and because of that, I feel anxious when I'm just going about my business in here. I always feel like she's judging what I'm doing, even though what I'm doing is just sitting at a computer silently most of the day.
Yeah, I doubt. Well, I was going to say that I doubt she that she has, much thought about you. But then I was thinking about how earlier today I was across the street from me. There's like I'm on the third floor. There's like a balcony.
Yeah.
And today I was telling my girlfriend, like, look, the guy that's always smoking cigarettes without his shirt off in the morning, he's out there now drinking a beer and smoking a cigarette, but he's got his shirt on. So I guess maybe she does care. I keep pretty close track of the people I can see out the window.
The neighbors from Bewitched? What's her name? This is Crandall or something. Always looking out the window.
That sounds familiar. Yeah, I guess I kind of am, Tim. Nice. I know a lot about. I got a rear window situation going on out here.
Yeah, this
keeping
is
an eye on everybody.
This is like a rear window situation, except they're looking like I make eye contact with this person multiple times a day, and immediately I just like look back down because like what am I supposed to do? Like give a little wave, like hello.
I don't think that would be the worst thing in the world. Make a little sign, put it in your window.
No,
it says, Happy Friday. Am I right?
No,
TGIF. Happy hour drinks on me.
I don't want to do that. I don't want to know this person. I don't want.
Do you
this
ever
person... think
about opening up the window and screaming at them? I mean, they'd be able to hear it.
Get out. Oh, they would be able to hear it. They could probably hear me right now. I just looked. I looked out the way. She's in there right now. We just made eye contact. Yes.
You made eye contact? Can you point the iPad out there so I can see?
No, I can't do that. I'm not going to do that. Because she'll see me holding an iPad up.
Yeah, and she'll see my face in the iPad, which will be real weird.
Well, do you think she knows who you are?
I don't know. It might solve a mystery for her. Maybe she wonders why, every Thursday night you talk into a microphone.
Yeah. So is it rude if I just draw the curtains whenever I come in and do work?
Of course not. I thought you were avoiding doing that just because you wanted like a view of the outside.
Well, I also, it allows for more sunlight to come in. I don't know. I just don't want to ever run into this person.
It's not rude to have privacy in your own home.
I know. That's why I think she should just leave her office and let me be. Let me work in peace.
Does she ever close her curtains?
No.
Yeah. I never close the curtains in my office, so I get it.
Yeah, because you want sunlight to come in.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and it's
dark times.
It's not like anybody living in New York City is like, oh, I have too many windows. I mean, I guess maybe the stockbrokers living up in their penthouses.
Yeah, I don't think I would like that either, though. Like the floor-to-ceiling windows all around, like one of the kids in Succession or something, one of those apartments.
Yeah, I would be afraid of people looking at me with a telescope.
Yeah.
That reminds me, I gotta get a telescope. I gotta start spying on some of these people a little more closely.
Tom, let's quit dilly-dallying.
Tomb! What the hell, man?
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, yes, skeleton?
We'll take that back. The music plays.
Don't put this in the episode, Tim. We'll look like assholes. Skeleton.
Music's playing. And we're back, Tomb.
Great, Skeleton.
Wonderful. Let's get a move on it. Tomb, here we go. This week we're talking about hell.
Yeah. HE double hockey sticks.
The place to be.
What? No, it's not the place to be. It's the place you'd least want to be, as I understand it.
Now, you say this a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I was under the impression that hell is cool.
But who told you that? The boys outside the smoke shop?
Tom, yeah, sure. You go to church when you're a kid.
That heavy metal magazine I've seen you reading?
Yeah, I play all my records backwards, and you should hear all the wonderful things that they say about hell. Sounds like a fantastic place, Tom. No, look, there's a lot of differing, conflicting, reporting about hell, right?
There's no reporting about hell.
Yeah. Some newspapers, they say hell is cool, and then other newspapers, they say hell isn't cool.
They say hell sucks.
Yeah. They say hell is the worst place in the world. Who do I believe in this situation?
I don't think that many people are saying hell is cool.
But isn't hell where all the where you can go and really let loose?
No, I don't think so. I think once you go there, you get tortured, Tim. I think if you go to heaven, you can really let loose. I mean, maybe not with the sick things you want to do.
No, do you think you can drink your 8% alcoholic seltzers up there, Tom?
In heaven?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I bet they wouldn't even give me a hangover.
Now, where do we get these ideas that heaven you could just do whatever you want, even if it's a bad thing to do on earth?
Why is it a bad thing to do? You get wine at church.
Yeah, but you don't get drunk on wine at church.
Speak for yourself, Tim. If you keep going back in line with a different disguise every time, you can get a nice buzz going.
Do they still do? I mean, not right at the moment,
right?
But in 2019, were they still doing that thing in Catholic churches where you'd go and drink from the same wine glass as everybody else?
Probably. I know the last couple of times I've been in churches, when they've done communion, it's they've had somebody, some I don't know, an assistant, like a magician's assistant, priests have some assistant that comes up.
Yeah, they're not dressed as provocatively as a magician's assistant.
Actually, the one time I was there, it was a pretty short number she was wearing and very sparkly. I thought it was inappropriate for church, to be honest. But they had it, but nobody took it. And then at the end, they just pour it. I don't know. They poured it into something else.
They just finish it. They polish off whatever's left.
Oh, no. I think that is what they do.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's been blessed. So it's you can't put it back in the bottle because who knows what happens if you bless the same wine twice.
It has the opposite effect on it, and it turns it into devil's brew.
And if it's if it's blessed, you can't just dump it down the sink or whatever. So they do polish it off, but I think they don't put that. I've never been to church, even when that was more happening, when more people partook of the wine. I've never been to church where they're hang on, everybody, we ran out of wine. We gotta get a refill here and have the priest bless it again. And all right, now bar's back open, everybody.
Yeah, because people would have revolted.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty low alcohol wine that they use too.
Yeah, you don't know.
Well, that's why I said I think, not I know.
Tom, what you don't know about the wine at church could fill a freaking book.
I wonder if you could say to the person, I didn't think about that. If you're at church and you're looking to get a buzz, and you see that nobody's partaking of the wine, you can go up there and now nobody else has sipped it and be yeah, I'll take a big old swig.
Right.
Something to keep in mind the next time you're in church. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Or as Mike Love of the Beach Boys says, if you're ever going to be able to go to church again without getting arrested.
Oh, is that what he thinks?
Yeah, he thinks right now, if you go to church, you get arrested.
Yeah, well, Mike Love strikes me as somebody who goes to church every Sunday.
Yeah, good man.
Wearing his fucking hat.
The priest kindly asked him to take off his Beach Boys hat.
No, sorry.
Sorry, Father.
Sorry, if I take off this hat, people will know I went bald 40 years ago.
Mike Love, a bad man.
Yeah.
Look, remember when when the Beach Boys
Mike Love, more like Mike Hate.
Yeah. More like my glove.
No, that doesn't make any sense, Tim.
Tom, if you don't think hell is cool, why do so many cool people worship the devil?
What cool people worship the devil?
Like heavy metal bands, Tom.
Because they're heavy metal. They're allowed to.
Yeah, but that's cool.
Get it.
Yeah, no, exactly.
I guess it's pretty cool.
They tried to make hell seem cool to a bunch of impressionable kids in the 80s, and it worked on me.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I guess like heavy metal bands really sold the idea that hell is just like a party place. Like, yeah, it's a 24-hour party in hell. And like some really messed up stuff happens, but hey, that's hell.
Yeah, it's just kind of like, it's like, hey, you want to be all pious and then go to boring old heaven, or do you want to let loose and have some real fun in hell?
Yeah, and I think what they're leaving out is, I assume if you're the new guy in hell, I don't know, you're the one getting tortured or whatever at these parties. You know, you can't expect that you can go into hell the first day and you're running the place. There are people that have been there for eternity. And they're like, whoa, new blood, hold on. Get on the stretching rack. We're going to stretch you out.
So once you're there, once you have some seniority, they're like, hey, climb down off that Iron Maiden and join us.
Yeah. Once they know you're cool, I guess.
Yeah. Well, how do you prove that you're cool in hell? Just by being like, yeah, torture me. I don't care. I like it.
Yeah, probably something like that. They'd be like, wow, this guy's really sick. All right, get him out of there. Let's just give him a beer instead.
See, this is why I could never square. Nobody could give me a straight answer on what went on in hell. And then I'd ask my parents, like, does the devil... Like, I remember asking, like, when I was really little, I was like, because you see him in cartoons and stuff, and you see people, like, sell their soul to the devil and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was just kind of like, Mom, Dad, will I see the devil at some point? Will I just, like, be walking downtown and the devil will roll up?
Does he make an offer to everybody at some point in their life? You know, and it's like sometimes it's a really good offer, and then sometimes it's like, I'll get you. I'll let you cut in line if you give me your soul. It's like, devil, you hit me on the wrong day. When I was really trying to learn guitar a couple of years ago, that's when you should have hit me up. But I'll just wait. I'll just wait in this line. It's fine. It's moving.
Tom, what if it's the line for Batman the Ride on a Saturday in July? That line could be 3 hours long, Tom.
Tim, then I would go buy a Flash Pass, the Devil's Token,
well,
the Devil's Talisman.
What if the devil came up to you? Would you sell your soul for a lifelong Fast Pass?
If it could also teleport me to the Six Flags, I'd mull it over.
What the hell kind of Fast Pass has teleportation powers?
It's the devil. He can make any kind of Flash Pass he wants.
What? The devil's not magic.
Yeah, the devil's magic. Are you serious?
What do you mean? He
what
can,
do you
like,
mean the devil's
time
not magic?
travel?
It's not time travel. It's teleportation.
I know, but like, if
but he
he's
probably,
magic,
I don't know, maybe he can time travel.
I think you're giving the devil way too much credit.
What? You don't think the devil has access to magic?
I don't think teleportation style
then
magic.
What kind of magic? Just throwing fireballs and shit?
I think he can appear where he needs to appear, where he wants to appear, but I don't think
he can teleport there.
Yeah, I don't think he can create a device that he can hand to somebody else who will then...
He's not creating it like in his little lab or something, Tim. It doesn't obey the rules of physics. He's put a spell on it. You know, and if the devil can't do it himself, then he'll go get a witch or a warlock that specializes in this type of thing. And they'll be thrilled to be helping out the devil.
Listen, this might get me in some hot water with the Satanists, Tom, but I think you're giving the devil way too much credit.
Oh, man. Tim, you're taunting the devil. You're asking the devil to come prove you wrong. Maybe we're both going to be visited by the devil today.
Be nice. I mean, we're gonna be visiting the devil a little bit later because this week Tim and Tom are going to hell.
Well, if he's in, I don't know. He's probably a busy guy.
I don't know how it works. All right, here's what, Tom. Here's the problem.
Yes. Well, tell me what the problem with hell is.
No, when you search about
it's
hell
too
on the
damn
internet,
expensive now.
it does have
The real estate
crisis.
has gone through the roof.
When you search about hell on the internet, like most of the stuff that comes up is from religious websites.
Yeah.
And they're biased, I think, because they're all like, no, you don't want to go to hell.
Right. You wanna read in a heavy metal magazine what they say about hell. Mm-hmm. And I think but I think in those cases, they're not really doing much reporting themselves. They're just kind of, I don't know, just making stuff up, to be honest with you.
Has you know how those kids, they like have a near-death experience and then they come out of the coma and they're like, I went to heaven, Mommy.
The little boy that who's probably a grown man at this point, but the little boy that wrote God is real that you're obsessed with.
No, heaven is for real. No, there's a
heaven
few.
is for real.
There's a few of those kids and a few of those books, Tom.
Oh, do you think it's one of those things now where parents are, trying to give their kid a near-death experience just so they can, get on the heaven is real circuit?
Now, you are insulting me or trying to insult me by implying that that's what I'm implying. Now, I think probably.
No, I'm not trying to insult you. I'm genuinely curious if that's the case by now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there is some. I mean,
instead of like
parents,
being a beauty pageant mom, you're a near-death experience stage mom.
Yeah, or maybe it's more of an opportunistic. Like maybe nobody is pushing their kids to have a near-death experience, but as soon as they have one, they're just like, well, time to monetize this.
Yeah. Let me ask this kid a bunch of questions about what he saw. And just kind of, I mean, that's the thing with those types of books. It's like, yeah, kids don't lie. I mean, kids do lie, but they're bad liars.
Balloon Boy lied on the Today Show, and he was so distraught he vomited all over Katie Couric.
I just a few weeks ago watched a thing about the Balloon Boy and his family and where they are now, and it was great. It was great to catch up with some old favorites.
They're still pulling schemes, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. That's all they are. They're just like a scheme family.
I mean, gotta hand it to them.
And this was an interview with like their a part of this was an interview with a neighbor who was like, yeah, I don't know, it was really messed up. I was so upset. Like, they were our neighbors for years, and like their kids were over our house while they were, quote unquote, trying to find, their other son. And like, it's just really fucked up when I realized what had happened and that this guy just lied to my face.
Yeah. But
they moved.
Maybe they'll be moving to hell pretty soon.
Maybe. Hopefully not.
Maybe
the
not
boys.
Pretty soon. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The parents, they'll probably go to hell though, right?
But I was going to say, yeah, it's difficult to get a kid to lie convincingly, but it's very easy to plant ideas in a kid's head.
Yeah.
Especially if that kid, woke up from a near-death experience and he's probably like all doped up on whatever. Like, what did you see, honey? Did you see God? Did you see angels? Was there a white light? Yeah, all right.
A couple of these kids have come out and been like, yeah, no, they told me to say that stuff. And they were like, there's no way he could have known that. And it was like, yeah, but there wasn't a reporter there when he said that for the first time. The parents just told him to say that. Anyway, have any of those kids ever had that experience and been like, I went to hell, it sucked?
I think as a general rule, most kids don't get sent to hell.
Why not? What about stinkers? What about the problem child?
Look, so you're wondering if the problem child had a near-death experience, would he go to hell and come back and tell
John Ritter
all about hell? I saw hell and it sucked.
That problem child, let me tell you, he'd enjoy himself in hell.
I think he did go to hell in one of those movies. Or he was wearing a devil outfit, I think, for Halloween.
Yeah, I'm telling you, he'd fit right in hell. Tomb.
Yeah. Yes, skeleton.
So, as I was saying before, all the things that you search for when you search for hell, it's religious stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I found this website that was that debunked some myths about hell, and that, frankly, Tom, shocked me.
I also found the same thing. Like, I wasn't looking for anyone talking about how cool hell is. I didn't expect.
I literally searched for, is hell cool? And here's what I learned, Tom.
Yeah.
Not everybody, not all religions, not all myths have hell being hot. Some of it says hell is quite the opposite. Cold.
So in some religions, if you said, yeah, when hell freezes over, they'd be like, now, I guess?
Yeah, like on a regular day. This means something that happens every day, right? The Eagles are always on tour, reunited.
There's also a lot of religions that don't believe in hell. So there's that, too.
Sign me up for that, huh?
Yeah, sign me up for no hell. I also found...
I'll choose the no hell option. Thank you very much.
Well, actually, before we get to that, I was thinking about this where I was like, man, the idea that when you die, yeah, you can go to purgatory, but ultimately for eternity, you're going to heaven or hell. That's a hell of a choice. That's there's no in between.
Yeah.
It's like you're going to the best place ever, or both these places are going to make Earth look like it was lame. You're not going to believe the difference in these places.
The goodness of heaven and the badness of hell.
Yeah.
Earth has no comparison.
Right. Or even purgatory, because purgatory, it's like, well, you're there temporarily while they do some paperwork, I guess.
What's purgatory about?
It's a waiting room. It's like, we gotta get a grand jury together to figure out where you should go.
Yeah, but
sorry. Sometimes I believe it is like this person doesn't deserve to go to hell, but they shouldn't get a flash pass to heaven.
Shouldn't they have a better solution than just like, okay, we'll just have them sit here for a while?
Well, what would the better solution be?
Like a medium place.
That's what purgatory is, I think.
No, can you go bowling in purgatory?
I don't think so. I think purgatory still sucks, but it's not as bad as hell.
Yeah, like heaven, like hell, there's no Six Flags Great Adventure. Or
No.
if there is, Batman the Ride.
It's always broken. It's always down for repairs.
Yeah, or it decapitates you every time you try to ride it, right? Like you hit the poles.
Yeah, that would be
heaven,
pretty cool.
There's a Six Flags Great Adventure.
Because you hit the poles and it'll kill you instantly.
No, but not in hell. You're already dead.
I see. Yeah.
So yeah, you'd feel the whole thing. In heaven, there'd be a Six Flags that's like it's all the Six Flags in one, and there are no lines.
Right.
And none of the rides are ever broken down.
And they've got some new roller coasters you've never even heard about.
Exactly. And then like purgatory should have just like a local amusement park where it's just
right.
like, it's got a roller coaster, but it's nothing to write home about. It doesn't have any loops or anything. And you can go there and you're just like, it's better than nothing, I guess, but maybe I'd rather just sit at home and watch TV.
Once you've already paid for your ticket and you get in, you find out, it's mostly kids rides. Damn, there's nothing I can even really go on. Or
it's one of those things where you need to like buy separate tickets for every ride, so it's not easy. You don't just get in and go on whatever rides you want.
Yeah, that's what Coney Island's like. It stinks.
Yeah, Coney Island stinks. I can't imagine how anybody ever thought Coney Island didn't stink. I think Coney Island's worse than hell.
It's fun. It's fun for like a day. It's a weird place to go to in New York City. But the last time I was there, I remember seeing like families there, and I couldn't believe it, because to bring like a family there is going to cost you more than going to Disney World, because everything there is nickel and dime the hell out of you.
Yeah, if you're all going to ride the Cyclone, it's going to cost you $45 for a family.
Yeah, I think it was around $45 for like 4 people to go on.
Yeah. Come on, guys. Get your act together. Tough times.
But anyway, I found some myths about hell too, and like you, I thought it was going to go the other way, about like, hell's not. You're not going to get sent to hell. Very few people get sent to hell. Like reassuring.
Oh,
because
like,
I guess
hell's not that bad.
Well, I guess normally when you see like myths debunked, it's usually, oh, this isn't as dangerous as people think, or it's not as bad as people think. There's, when we were talking about the myths, the Halloween myths about like needles in razor blades and candy, and turns out that's not really ever happened with strangers. But not these hell myths, at least from what I saw.
No, these tended to be a little bit more alarming than I thought.
Yeah. Do you want to go over some of them?
Yeah, you can start with your list.
Oh, okay. The first one that I saw was hell doesn't exist. It's a myth.
Oh, it's a myth.
It's like, a myth.
Dumb. This undermines the whole premise of everything we're trying to do here.
Because it was like, no, hell does exist. There's a bunch of proof about it in the Bible. Which I was like, all right, yeah, if you're, if you believe everything in the Bible, that's enough proof. But I thought they were going to have something like, no, here's pictures. Like, it does exist.
I mean, you know about the well to hell, right, Tom?
I do. Yeah, that was another thing. I had remembered about it, but then I also found it. Do you want to explain what it is?
It's in Russia, I want to say.
Well, it's a hoax. You know that, right?
I mean, some people are saying that it's not a hoax.
Some people aren't saying it's not a hoax.
It was reported in some not great sources to not be a hoax in the late 80s, early 90s.
What, Tim? Like CNN? The New York Times?
So they dug way down, and they dug deeper than they've ever dug before, and they're like, what? Mm-hmm. We like broke through, and now it's like... And so they put a heat-resistant microphone down there.
Right.
And they recorded all these scary hell noises, and they're like, oh man, we've accidentally dug all the way to hell.
And they had a thermometer on the microphone, and it said it was 1,800 degrees Fahrenheit, which is very hot.
Yeah.
I was surprised.
I think at the end of this episode, Tom, we should go to Russia, jump down that well, see for ourselves.
I was surprised. I guess the hoax reports were that they dug 9 miles down, and they didn't. They dug like 7.8 miles down, which I was like, oh, I don't know, that's close enough. But I was also surprised, because I was thinking, really, like hell would only be 9 miles away at all times? That doesn't seem far enough.
Yeah, that'd be weird. Like, we're closer to hell than we are to like a satellite.
Yeah. That I always assume hell's like in the middle of the earth.
I always assumed that for hell to actually exist, and I guess this shows how things mess with kids' heads. It's like I was learning about the Earth in school, and the different layers of Earth, and then they were like, oh, and then I'd learn other places, like in church and stuff, that hell was under the Earth. But I was like, oh, it must be in the center of the Earth.
Yeah.
But if that's the case, it's not big enough to hold, like, what I was roughly figuring would be like half the people who have ever lived are going to go to hell and half are going to go to heaven. That was my back of the envelope math.
Huh.
And I was like, they'd run out of space real quick. I guess science is all just a hoax because hell is certainly real.
Right.
So it must be like we're the Earth isn't round or whatever. There's it's just a big flat expanse, and miles and miles and miles underneath the Earth is kind of unlimited hellscape.
Yeah. Are there flat earthers that believe in hell?
I don't know. I mean, it would make sense. It would track.
Yeah. I wonder if they think like hell's just like underneath, like a mirror world, like everybody's standing on hell upside down. It's just the other side of the flat earth.
That's an interesting thought. Like,
yeah.
Jordan Peele's Us.
Yes.
I don't really remember that movie.
Yeah, well, yeah, like kind of. I mean, it wouldn't be like everybody's doppelgangers, but yeah, it'd be underneath everything.
But maybe it is.
Maybe. And then if the Earth was flat and you drilled through it, you'd see freaking outer space. I guess you'd see outer space if you drilled through the regular Earth, the actual Earth. But it would take a lot less time, I would think. Unless, I don't know, maybe there are flat earthers that are like, yeah, idiot, Earth's flat, but it's thick as hell. You don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
I also read when I was looking at this stuff about how you shouldn't make light of hell because then you'll go to hell.
See, I don't think we're making light of hell here.
Well,
Tom.
they always have like this was a Bible verse. I'll read it to you, Tim. I've been meaning to start reading more Bible verses in the show. And this is the thing. Whenever I read this kind of stuff and they point out like, well, it's very clear in the Bible. It's always a line in the Bible where it's like, I don't know what that's talking about.
Tom, I don't understand.
Let me read it for you.
One sentence in the Bible.
They said that this sentence proves that you shouldn't make fun of hell because then you'll go to hell. Proverbs 132. For the waywardness of the simple will kill them, and the complacency of fools will destroy them. I mean, that could mean
there you
anything.
have it. We're going to hell.
Yeah. I don't know. But then, at least Catholic belief is, yeah, but you can avoid going to hell if right before you die, you go, my bad. I'm sorry about all that stuff.
This is what this is one of the myths that was busted on the website I went to, Tom.
Mm-hmm.
It is false. Okay, the myth is that there are people in hell who wanted to go to heaven while they were still alive, but God wouldn't let them. Apparently, that's false. Everybody in hell didn't want to go to heaven. Nobody in hell wanted to go to heaven.
Oh. Well, then what's the big worry?
Right?
Yeah, it's just a bunch of heavy metal bands down there having a blast, and the rest of us, when they give us the choice, be like, oh, you know what? I'm not going to risk eternity. I'll go with the safe choice. I'll go with heaven.
You can never be let out of hell, Tom.
Yeah, you're there for eternity, which is honestly giving me very cold feet about going there myself.
Quit being a coward. I'm sure we'll be able to get out of hell.
Yeah, one of the myths I saw was that hell is temporary. I'm like, I never heard it was temporary.
Yeah, maybe some people were mixing it up with purgatory. What's limbo?
It's when you get two people to hold a pole and you have to go under it. You have to lean backwards, but you can't touch the ground. You have to stay on your feet. And then once everybody's gone, then you lower the pole a little bit lower and you see, who can do that.
That makes sense.
But if somebody touches the pole or they fall, then they're out.
They're
out.
There.
You keep doing it until one person wins.
Okay. Satan and his demons do not rule hell, apparently.
What?
They're inmates.
Is there a new gang in town?
No, they're suffering eternal punishment under, guess who? God.
Oh, that wasn't what I read.
Yeah,
I
read the vengeful part of God.
So wait, is that a myth or that's true, according to you?
That's the true part.
Oh.
The myth is that Satan rules hell with his boys.
The with his sons? Satan and sons?
His boys and his friends. You know how sometimes your cousin isn't actually your cousin?
Right. Not really, but all right. So, what I read, the myth was that God sends people to hell, and the truth was that people send themselves to hell.
Yeah. Well,
which I guess is kind of
episode. Tim and Tom are going to go to hell.
I guess it's kind of true. It kind of jives with what you're saying, that, it's a choice to go to hell. But from what I was reading, it was a choice, and you make that choice by, being a bad person.
Yeah.
What's the next myth?
There's a widespread belief among non-Christians that hell is a place where they will be united with their unbelieving friends and drink beer all the time in an endless party. The fact is that hell is a place of utter isolation, loneliness, and deprivation. So you're just completely alone down there.
Yeah, but what if, I'm kind of an introvert, Tim? I like being alone.
Yeah, exactly.
What if you get down there and you're
finally some peace and quiet.
Yeah, exactly. And you can just, sit there and read books.
Guess what? They have all the books, but guess what? Your glasses are broken.
Oh, man. I don't wear glasses, though, but I'll need them in hell.
You'll need them in hell.
Wow.
Or they'll force you, they'll put really strong reading glasses on your eyes that you can't take off.
Oh, and they'll give me headaches when I'm trying to read.
Yeah, and you won't be. Everything will look blurry.
Bad.
They'll be like Coke bottle lenses.
What was that myth again?
That it's utter isolation.
Oh, right. That it's fine. You get to hang out with non-Christians and drink beer all the time.
Yeah, but the thing is, this website.
Well, and they should have included non-Christians and heavy metal bands of all denomination.
Right. And temporarily podcast hosts that are going down just to see what it's all about.
Well, Tim, again, I read that the idea that hell is temporary is a myth.
I did read that you can never be let out of hell. But again, I don't know who to believe, Tom, because you have them saying one thing and then you have freaking Slayer saying another thing.
Yeah, it's tough to sort it out.
Yeah.
One of the other myths that I read, which made me laugh because I was like, I've never heard this myth, and the myth is that hell won't be that bad.
I mean, I've heard that.
Well, I guess that's kind of what you think. You think hell's not going to be that bad.
I don't know. No, I don't have any definitive beliefs about hell, Tom. I just feel like there's no consistent source of information about hell that we all agree on. But you're
talking the inconsistent sources you're referring to are heavy metal bands and cartoons
and Satanists.
Well,
Aleister Crowley.
I think Satanists are like, this is fine. Whatever. Like, it's not for everybody, but it's for me.
I like getting nails shoved in my eyes.
Yeah, I don't think Satanists are out there saying like, oh, everybody's making too much of a fuss. Hell is fine. They're like, no, hell's hardcore, man. And that's why I'm a Satanist. You know that some people believe Aleister Crowley, who we should do an episode on sometime.
I feel like I'd get haunted by him. That's the one guy I don't want to get haunted by.
Well, there's a lot of people that think he's responsible for all these UFOs and aliens. That he broke.
All right.
He broke through the dimensions, Tim, with all of his rituals and stuff, and opened up a gate between us and another dimension. Because he met this guy called Lamb, I think, and his drawing of this guy looks just like one of them gray aliens. Just food for thought.
Yeah, it really makes you think.
I think people that think hell isn't that bad probably just don't think about hell. Because I walk around thinking like, hell's not that bad. But then, today when I was thinking about hell, it's like, what would hell be like for me? I was like, oh, yeah, it could be real bad.
Here's my question to you.
Mm-hmm.
Is hell personalized to each person?
I think so.
Now, what makes you think that? That's cartoons.
That's cartoons, I guess. That's The Simpsons.
Yeah, and Porky Pig.
Yeah. I guess it doesn't have to be. I guess if it's like real bad, if it's just like, they just like stick hot pokers up your ass. It's like, well, that doesn't have to be personalized. Nobody's going to like that.
Yeah, but also, where does it say in the Bible that they stick hot pokers up your ass? Where did that come from?
That's just use your imagination, man.
That's not the first thing I think of. I don't even think of hot
what's the
pokers
first thing
in any
you
way.
think of?
I don't know. Pulling off your fingernails one by one.
Yeah, I guess that's bad, but not as bad. You got to remember, Tim, they don't have to worry about killing you. So they can just like chop you up into pieces over and over.
Then why wouldn't you say that instead of hot poker up your
They can put you in like a wood chipper over and over again.
Yeah.
Or a big paper shredder, but it would be a Tim shredder.
Now,
and it would get jammed halfway.
Are they keeping up with the newest technology on Earth? Like when the paper shredder came out, where they were like, "Oh, great!
Oh, this is
After
great!
thousands of years, we can make a big version of this."
Yeah,
like they're scouting out Earth.
We need to get the boys upstairs, or I guess downstairs. Maybe the R&D in hell is even further down.
Probably.
We need to get the boys down R&D working on a big version of this ASAP. All the businessmen that get sent to hell, this is going to be very ironic to them.
Do you think they have like iPad tortures now?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe it's like
I don't know what you'd really do with it.
It's just like you have to use it, but it's like a very sharp, the glass cuts you as you use it.
Ooh, yeah.
Well, one of the myths on this thing that I read was that Jesus didn't talk about hell. And then the truth under it was Jesus talked about hell more than anyone in the Bible.
Really?
That's what this claimed. I don't know what version of the Bible they were looking at, but they said apparently Jesus was talking a blue streak about hell to anyone who would listen. I think which kind of makes sense. He's like, oh man, now you want to go to my dad's place, not hell. Hell stinks.
Yeah.
Listen
my
to me.
uncle's place. He's not like my actual uncle, but I call him my uncle.
Jesus doesn't call God his uncle.
No, his dad, the devil.
The devil's his uncle?
Yeah, because he's a fallen angel.
Yeah, but he doesn't call the devil his uncle. I think he's just like, it's the devil. It's like, a guy my dad.
Yeah, I know, but he doesn't call heaven my dad's place either.
Oh, so you think it's like when Satan was an angel, he was like very close with God. So it's like,
I think all the angels, I think Jesus is kind of like, hey, God's my dad, and like all you guys are like my aunts and uncles.
I don't think so. I'm just saying that like Satan was a very close business associate of God. So it's like, Satan was just always around. So, he was just Uncle Satan.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. I've come around. I do see how he would think.
Tom, if you had a kid, would you let them call me Uncle Tim?
I'd make them call you Uncle Skeleton.
Nice.
I don't think Jesus would go through the trouble of calling Satan his uncle and then having to explain to people like he's not really my uncle.
I don't know. A couple glasses of wine. You just want to.
That's true.
Clarify. You're chatty.
Yeah, right. Yeah, when Jesus would get chatty, I got the impression Jesus was kind of always chatty.
Yeah, I mean that's how you got to spread the word somehow.
Yeah, exactly. And you do it through chatting.
Selling your soul. That was another way that
that's a one-way
cartoons set me on the wrong path, because that's more of a metaphor, I guess, right? If you achieve your dreams or the things you want through
duplicitous means,
evil ways, that'll send you to hell. It's not actually a contract that you signed with the devil, right?
It literally never occurred to me that it's a metaphor. But it does make a lot of sense as a metaphor.
Yeah. Also, when I was in 5th grade, this kid in my class, Billy, was a bad kid, kind of.
Did he have a near-death experience where he went to hell?
No, but he told a our teacher, like, we were talking, like, the devil came up. I think somebody in class asked, like, hey, what's the deal with the devil? And then Billy's
what
like,
subject was being taught at the time?
it was 5th grade, we were all trying to figure things out. Sometimes the weird kid
The
weird
middle of an algebra
is the
lesson.
devil real? Maybe it was science class or something.
Okay, well, that makes a lot more sense.
We were learning about animals, and somebody was like, oh, is the devil real? And Billy's like, yeah, he is. My parents told me he has all these minions that come, these little
yellow guys.
No, not. And I shouldn't have said minions. He didn't say minions.
Okay.
He said like assistants or helpers or something.
Right.
And he claimed that all these little demons came up, these little red demons. And they're watching you all the time for you to do bad things. And if you do bad things, they go back and tell, like an Elf on the Shelf, but for the devil. Right.
Right. Well,
and
that's
clearly
that's a great thing to instill in your kid.
Exactly. And, when you have a bad kid and you're trying everything and you're just like, all right, well, the devil's always watching you. He's got these little demons that are always around watching you. And if you're not good, you're going to go to hell. Like that sounds like a last resort of Billy's parents.
Right.
And it
sounds like he bought it hook, line, and sinker.
He did. And he was freaking telling the whole class about this in the middle of like a science lesson. And somebody was like, is that true, to our teacher? And our teacher didn't want to undermine the parenting style of, and also hey, if Billy finds out the devil isn't watching him at all times, my class might get a lot harder to teach.
This is how he acts when he thinks the devil's keeping a close eye on him. Imagine if he thinks it's false.
Yeah, some of my neighbors banging on the wall.
Oh, no.
I'm screaming.
Maybe it's the devil.
Do you think he's just shut up screaming about the devil so much? I
don't know why I'm whispering. I don't have to whisper. I just saw you jump and look behind you, and I got so legitimately scared that that a little demon was behind you. And then you were going to tell me Tom, we have to end the episode. I'll tell you later.
I don't know what to do.
Well, I'm glad to hear it's just your annoyed neighbor instead.
Yeah. We've been recording this here for, I don't know, I moved in May. Mm-hmm. Every week. Have they just been so upset with me?
Maybe they just don't like hearing about the devil, Tim.
Yeah.
Maybe they're very religious.
Our teacher was like, yeah, that's true about the devil.
Wow. That's not nice to do to all the other kids.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Scared me for I don't know, for a couple of weeks till I asked my parents, and they were like, no, stop. Billy's a bad kid.
His parents told him that as a last resort. Are we going to go to hell before the plugs or after the plugs?
Let's go after the plugs. I don't know how we're going to go to hell with my neighbor. I thought, we're going to be doing a lot of screaming, I thought.
Well, I guess you're just going to have to keep your screaming to a minimum.
That's true. I'm in hell right now, Tom. I'll tell you that much.
If you like the show, you can find out more at tcgt.com. If you want to support the show, check out our sponsors. Also, check out patreon.com/complete guide, where you can get bonus weekly episodes of Books the Podcast. This week, we are starting Pet Cemetery as part of, Halloween month might be on its way out, but we're keeping the party going, baby, because we're just starting Pet Cemetery on our patreon.com/complete guide. You can follow us on Twitter at complete guide. You can follow us on Instagram at tcgte, and you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Tom Reynolds.
You can follow me at your pal Tim. Okay, well, here we are in Siberia.
That was a very long journey. I'm telling you, Tim, the well to hell I read online is not real.
Well,
and I can't believe that I've came all this way to Siberia when I'm sure that the well to hell is fake.
Yeah, well, here we are at the well. So let's
oh my God! I didn't look down.
It goes down pretty far, and we did think ahead. We brought these very heat-resistant microphones.
Yes, yeah, we got they were nice enough to the Siberian scientists to lend us their heat-resistant microphones. Turned out they were very big fans of the podcast.
Siberian scientists.
Yeah.
I think what we'll do, we'll probably pop down there, maybe spend 10, 15 minutes, get a lay of the land.
Right.
And then we'll pop back up and resume our normal lives.
Okay. On 3, we'll jump.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Here we are in hell.
Yeah. Wow.
It doesn't seem that bad, Tom. I think it's kind of hot.
It is very hot. I'm glad we got these heat-resistant microphones. And I'm also glad we didn't land in that stream of lava over there. That was a close one.
Yeah, there's a whole lake. It's leading to a lake of fire, Tom.
Wow. You don't see that every day, huh? Well, I've seen enough. Let's go back up.
Yeah, where's the exit?
Hell's real.
Hell is real, and it's not good. I don't want to.
No, it stinks down here.
Hear all that moaning and whatnot?
Yeah, and not the good kind.
No, the good kind of sex noises.
Yeah, sex moaning.
All right. Yeah.
Wait, you're mad at me for being inappropriate in hell?
Yeah, Tom.
That kind of talk, Tim, is what's going to get us some friends around here.
Yeah, I know. And I just Tom, I got a bad feeling about this place. It's starting to creep me out. I think we should find the exit.
Okay. Which do you know where it is?
I'm sure it's around here somewhere.
Well, I'm not asking anyone. That's embarrassing.
There's no one to ask. It's an isolated place.
Oh, we could follow some of those moans, probably.
Yeah, I guess let's follow the moans.
All right. Well, we're gonna follow the moans and see if we can't get out of hell. And hopefully we will. See you next week.